yesterday I rewatched the first Hunger Games because Woody Harrelson is in it, and I liked it. I liked it more than I remembered liking it the first time, so I decided to give Catching Fire a watch pretty immediately. And having now watched the second Hunger Games, I can say that it's okay. I enjoyed bits of it. I enjoyed a lot of it, but I don't think it was quite as good as the first film, which is fair enough. Sequels are rarely as good as the first film, so I don't think it was as strong, but there are still a lot of really brilliant elements. The Hunger Games Catching Fire was released in 2013. It's directed by Francis Lawrence. It's written by Simon Beaufoy, written also by Michael De Bruyne, based on Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. And we have a cast including Jennifer Lawrence, Josh Hutcherson, Liam Hemsworth, of course Woody Harrelson, Elizabeth Banks, Stanley Tucci, and various others. The performances are fantastic. They're absolutely amazing. The story is, I wasn't sure what it was going to be about because I kind of thought, are they just going to immediately have the next Hunger Games? And the answer to that is, well, kind of. We have this victory tour at the beginning of the film, well, relatively beginning of the film, and that was interesting enough. And then they're being prepared for something that I learned is actually called the, I have to say the name of this is, it's very dark, but it's pretty brilliant. It's the Quarter Quell, and this is basically every 25 years they have this kind of super Hunger Games, and this is of course the third one because it's the 75th Hunger Games and the third Quarter Quell, and the tributes, the participants if you like, will be picked from previous victors from previous Hunger Games, one of whom is of course Katniss, and that's basically what the film is about. But we also have a lot of characters starting to rebel a bit more against the Capitol, and it gets very messy and very chaotic. And on the one hand, that works really well. But on the other, I do think the narrative itself was maybe just a little bit messier than I would have liked. The first film was very well structured. The pacing was great. It was just fantastic. This one felt a little bit more chaotic, not in a satisfying way. There were certainly chaotic scenes that were enjoyable, but the narrative structure maybe wasn't as strong as it was in the first film. But it's still decent. It's not badly done or anything. It's just not quite as tight as it is with the first Hunger Games. But I thought the narrative worked really well. And for me, my question is, and I will find out in due course, how are they going to continue these films for, are there 6 or 7 of them? Maybe 8? I have absolutely no idea. I haven't looked ahead. But when I got to the end of the first film, my question was, what are they going to do for the second film? And of course, I now have that answer, and my question now is, what are they going to do for the third film? And I'm keen to find out. I'm not as excited about the third film as I was for the second film, but nevertheless, I thought this was still decent. The narrative is still good, it still works well, it flows well. It's not as solid as the first film, but it's still decent. The performances are very strong. Visually, it's so impressive. It's a very vast, colossal film, and visually it is a real treat. It's the kind of film where seeing it in the cinema, I think, would have been a real experience. But at the same time, it's not the kind of film I would ever really go to see in the cinema, because it's not the kind of film where I'm almost guaranteed to like it. In fact, it's not usually my kind of film. My tastes are expanding. I am getting better at watching films outside of my comfort zone. And as we see with the first Hunger Games, and I guess the second one, I do like films that I don't necessarily think I'm going to like. But it would be very unlikely for me to see this kind of film on the big screen because there's a big chance that I wouldn't like it. Maybe I just need to take more risks, who knows. But either way, I thought Catching Fire was a decent continuation from the first film. Not quite as good, but definitely still pretty high up there in terms of quality. Visually, it's stunning. The music is very good. The special effects are incredible. The performances are brilliant. And it's left me very curious to see what would happen next. As I said, I'm not quite as enthusiastic about the next film as I was to see this one, so I might not watch it tomorrow. I might wait a couple of days. We'll see. And the main reason I want to watch them in quick succession is because there's a lot going on, and there are a lot of words in this that are not part of my regular vocabulary, such as, well, the capital, which I think I can remember what that is, but things like tributes and victors, and if I go a long period of time without watching the next one, there's a good chance I'm going to have to do a recap on a lot of the terminology. So I'd quite like to watch them in quick succession so I'm kind of in the zone and don't forget these things. But I might give it maybe another day or two. But either way, relatively looking forward to it. And I can say that Catching Fire is a decent sequel. It's a good story. The characters are great. The performances are great. Visually, it's incredible. And while I didn't quite enjoy it as much as the first film, I still thought it was a really decent experience.